What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video on Juniper Rising. Today we're going to be talking about the newest Vidoc that Bungie has released on Season of the Drifter, or better known as Joker's Wild, the second expansion in Destiny 2's annual pass. And I found it quite interesting. I think that there's a good amount of content here. But the real question is it going to be better than Black Armory? I thought Black Armory was lacking quite a bit in the content department. So are we going to see an improvement here with Joker's Wild, with the Season of the Drifter? And so I have my trusty notepad as usual, and we're going to be going point by point all the new improvements that are going to be coming with the paid expansion of the annual pass. So the first thing that Bungie was really keen to talk about was this new mode called Gambit Prime, which is essentially Gambit, but the rewards are better. It's going to be sweatier. In the Vidoc, they did not confirm or deny whether or not there'd be matchmaking for this, which I feel like will either bring this new mode up or kill it. Personally, it's not the most exciting thing. I'm excited that there's a new activity that can be more accessible, hopefully, to players to get higher end gear and something that's highly competitive. One of the things that drew people away from Trials was that you need to find 2 other people, or in Destiny 2, 3 other people. And it's also, as far as I can tell, it's pretty much the same format as Gambit. Bungie obviously said that it's different, it's gonna change, but they didn't give any concrete evidence as to what's gonna be changing. So that concerns me a little bit. Is there actually going to be some meaningful adjustments made to this mode to make it feel fresh, to make it feel new? Or is Bungie just sort of trying to reassure us that this is going to be different, when in all reality it's going to be a very similar experience? I don't know, I can't tell you that yet. So that's one thing. There's also going to be 2 brand new Crucible maps. Both of them are going to be for all platforms as far as I can tell. That's really cool. That was something that was sorely missing in Black Armory. I felt like they didn't do anything with the Crucible other than new weapons and armor. They didn't add new maps, new modes, or anything. Hopefully some new modes come along with this, but I'm sure if there were new modes that were exciting to talk about, Bungie would have talked about them, and they didn't really mention anything about new Crucible modes, so I find that a little concerning. The Crucible is obviously my favorite thing to do in Destiny, so that's a little concerning. Another new, and I'm surprised they kind of skimmed over this, it's called The Reckoning, which is some sort of mode, some sort of horde mode, at least is what it looks like. They said it's like Crota's End. They explained it really weird, and when I know from experience, when Bungie doesn't explain things fully, that means that either A, this mode, this new activity, this pinnacle activity, which is what they're calling it, is not going to be as fleshed out, or it's not going to be as huge as they want us to think, or they just haven't come up with all the various things that they want to do with it yet. I don't know. It looked kind of cool from the gameplay trailer, or from the gameplay clips, and you guys will see it in the background here, but we'll see what happens with that. But I found that was probably the most interesting part of this Vidoc, and not Gambit Prime. Initiations of the 9, I think these are missions. They're bringing back the character from Trials, I forget her name, but she's basically the representative of the 9, and there's gonna be lore. That's what Bungie kept saying. They're talking about deep lore, which it's like, what does that mean? They keep saying, they said this is the deepest lore we've seen yet. The Gambit has the best lore behind him. It's like, okay, I don't, if you say so. So I think this is gonna have to do with a story. There's going to be an underlying story, which there was an underlying story to Black Armory, even though it was like nothing. It was kind of disappointing, but hopefully we get some really cool lore bits and pieces in here. But again, it's hard to say at this point. Obviously, there's going to be 2 new exotic quests. That's what they said, that there would be 2, but they only confirmed, I could have missed this, they only confirmed Thorn. Let me know down in the comments below, do you know what the other exotic quest will be for? It's kind of funny, like, the Draw was obviously the big exotic quest for Black Army for Last Word, and now Thorn, which is like another hand cannon, which is kind of weird, is coming back for this one. That's going to be like the big pinnacle exotic quest that everyone's going to want to be chasing. Kind of interesting. It's going to be... I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to bring Thorn back into Destiny 2. So it could break the game again, but honestly, I don't care. I am very nostalgic for Thorn. I'm excited for it. Excited to chase it just like I was for Last Word. Power Surge bounties. This is a big one for me. So a big complaint on Black Armory was the fact that I believe, what was it, 610, probably 620 light was required to really get your foot through the door, which is beyond the previous level cap. And now 640 is what Bungie thinks is going to be the proper light level for this new Joker's Wild content. So the biggest complaint was it was very difficult if you had purchased the annual pass to access the new annual pass activities without first continuing to grind for weeks, maybe months. In vanilla Destiny 2 or vanilla Forsaken content before you could even reach the new annual pass content. I think people were a little soured by that because they bought this DLC pack and they're too low of light to be able to experience all of it. You basically have to have run out of everything to do in the game and have completely maxed out all of your things before you could access these activities. And again, that was disappointing. It was disappointing. Eventually I got there, but I remember being like, I have to grind for another week to get to the proper light level before I can do this. And now they're fixing that. These Power Surge bounties, I think I have they're bounties. They're not quests, they're bounties. They are basically meant to increase your light level by quite a bit. I don't know if I don't know how that works. Again, it's one of those things that they just kind of mentioned. They skimmed over it. Are they going to give you weapons and armor that are like really high light? Or are they going to modify the light level on gear you already have? And personally, I might prefer the latter just because there are certain weapons that I am very attached to, and to be able to bring them into this new bit of content would be interesting. Then I can grind for the new Joker's Wild, the new Season of the Drifter items later when I'm in the end game of Season of the Drifter, not right away. So I kind of think it'd be interesting if they modified the light of the weapons and armor you already have equipped. That's something that Bungie's never done before, but I think it'd be kind of an interesting way to go about increasing our light levels at an accelerated rate to be able to access this new content. But I am very happy that Bungie has addressed this. It was a huge problem in Black Armory, and it's one of those things, it's like, Bungie has done they've done a lot of things that I have not agreed with over the past 4 years I've been playing in the Destiny universe. But I have to give them credit, they usually do answer to community feedback in one way or another. So this is just another example of that. Alright, what else do we have? Seasonal events is a huge thing that they're talking about, but that's available for everybody, so I'm not going to really... It's great that there's going to be a lot more content coming for people who didn't purchase the annual pass, because that was something I was concerned about. Is the annual pass going to be required to continue to stay at the same level as everyone else? And no, it doesn't seem to be that way. They seem to be carrying everyone through who has purchased Forsaken at least, to keep them relevant, keep relevant activities coming to these players, which I am very thankful for, because not everyone wants to pay another $30 upon the, what was it, $40 for Forsaken? I think so. That's just a lot to ask for, especially for something that's not even a new game. These are expansions. So the fact that Bungie's not making them required, they've done this before. I remember the first 2 DLC packs for the first Destiny, you kind of had to get them if you wanted to continue leveling up your character at a rate that wasn't absolutely just ridiculous. So, alright. And the last thing, this is a little tidbit, private gambit matches, this is another thing that's for everybody, but they're coming. They said you could even do solo private gambit matches. I don't know what that means. They didn't say that they're bringing bots in, but I think it's to practice, they said, so you can practice the hordes of enemies coming at you if you want to learn the maps better. that is one interesting thing that they did not mention. Is I pretty much would guarantee that there are going to be new Gambit maps coming in. There wasn't, although there were clips of characters playing Gambit in what looked like new areas. They never confirmed it. So it's like you're bringing in new Gambit maps, right? Like that seems to be something that's required for a season, for an annual pass DLC that is seemingly for Gambit players. I don't know. It's weird. So let's compare this content, the content that has been, I'm doing quote fingers right now, but you can't see them, confirmed. Well, it has been confirmed, but we just don't know how deep it is yet. That is coming to this new expansion, and let's take a look at, I wrote down the additions to Black Armory. The big thing with Black Armory was there was a new raid, Scourge of the Past. There is not a new raid in Joker's Wild, at least not one that they've talked about yet. It could still come. Scourge of the Past wasn't really something that they were talking about until it like dropped on us. It's like, oh, okay, we're getting a new raid. I didn't know that. So my guess is, I feel like they don't want to take focus away from Gambit Prime and The Reckoning and Initiations of the Nine. Those are three big new activities that they're trying to push. Personally, I feel like Bungie, going off of what they've done in the past, they probably won't release a raid with this. Penumbrum, I am going to guarantee that there will be a new raid for Penumbrum. I can guarantee it. So, okay, there's no new raid. Will there be new strikes? Again, it's hard for me to confirm or deny that at this point. Personally, I don't think so. There weren't any new strikes with Black Armory, unless there were. I'm trying to think. I haven't played Black Armory in a long time, just because I didn't think it was that good. So I was disappointed with it. And obviously there's the 2 new exotic quests in Black Armory as well, and the forges, which were weird. They were activities that got very repetitive to do, and they just felt very lazy to me. If I had to give Black Armory a rating, I can't remember what did I rate, a 5 out of 10? I don't think I gave it a rating, but I remember saying I was disappointed with it, and I grew more and more disappointed with Black Armory the more and more I played it after my review. But yeah, it's just, I don't think it was that great. And then obviously there are lots of new weapons and armor in Black Armory, but at least going over the list right now, it looks like Joker has a much more comprehensive list of new activities to do. For me, that is what these annual pass expansions need to deliver on. And that is new activities. New gear is great, but if I'm not going to have a fun time getting the new gear, it's pointless to me. It's pointless. I want new things to do within your game world, and as of right now, Joker's Wild looks like an improvement. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I am feeling very good about this middle expansion in the annual pass. I think it will deliver. I think that we're going to have, in the end, they seem to have learned from Black Armory. Joker's Wild should be good. I hope that they make even more improvements to Penumbrum. I think we'll have something that is worth a good amount. That we'll get our money's worth out of the end of the annual pass cycle. So, thank you guys for watching this video. If you made it to the end, please leave a like down below and consider subscribing to this YouTube channel for more videos like this. And let me know what you guys are thinking about Joker's Wild down below. I'm really curious to see what community feedback is at this point. I thought Bungie did a great job with the Vidoc, as they usually do. They are very good at hyping up their new expansions that they care about. You can tell that they care about this one. These are Vidocs that weren't necessarily created with this much detail for last year's expansions, and now Bungie seems to be excited for where they're bringing the game into now. So anyways, this is a very long video. This is a 15-minute video. So thank you guys for sticking around till the end, and until next time, this is Juniper signing out.